Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, and today we are going to focus on our math skills. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to practice making our teen numbers using Play-Doh. If you don't have Play-Doh in the house, you could use clay, or you could use, you could fill up a plate with some sugar or some salt, and you can use your finger to practice making the numbers in the sugar and the salt, or you could just draw the numbers if you would like, whatever is best for you. So we will practice doing that. We will practice adding and subtracting. We will also work on a few word problems, and then we will finish our lesson today with continuing with our chapter of Junie B. Jones, and we'll also do a journal. So we're going to start with our Play-Doh today. So I have my Play-Doh here. It's green for March. Well, I guess now it's April, but had it for when it was March. So we're going to practice working on our teen numbers first. So when I say a teen number, that means that my number starts with what? A teen number. What does my number start with? Yeah, so my number starts with a 1. When it's a teen number, my number is always going to start with a 1. So our teen numbers are all the numbers from 11 to 19. So we're going to practice making those numbers. So if you have Play-Doh, remember our little trick is to just take a little piece of Play-Doh off and roll it into a snake first. And that'll help you to make your numbers. So anytime you start to make a number, you can just roll it into that snake so it helps you form the number better. So we're going to start with making the number 11 first. So you can go ahead and pause the video. You can make your number 11, and I'm going to make mine too. And so remember, those teen numbers, they're always going to start with a 1. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just so we can see. So I'm going to hold mine up now. So yours should look something like this. So our 11 right here. All right, a 1 and a 1 is 11. So you can also try to sing that Jack Hartman song in your head and see if that'll help you when you're trying to remember how to make the numbers. So there we have 11. So what's awesome now is we can keep one of these because we know our teen numbers always start with a 1. So what number comes after 11? That's right, 12 comes after 11. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to make my 12. I want you guys to go ahead and make your 12 as well. And remember, you can pause the video and you can take time to make your 12. All right, so here is Miss Emily's 12. So remember, a 12 is a 1 and a 2. 12 is a 1 and a 2. So there's our teen number. And now we need to come up with what is our next number? What number comes after 12? Who remembers what number comes after 12? Yep, 13 comes after 12. So we got to make 13. And 13 almost sounds like when we say third. And right, third means 3, the third place. So it almost sounds the same, so you can use that as a trick too. So you can go ahead and pause your video, and Miss Emily will go ahead and make her number 13 too. I'm going to keep rolling it out. Sometimes you have to make a little bit of a bigger snake. All right, so here is the number 13. So we have a 1 and a 3. 13 is a 1 and a 3. All right, so now we need 14. Okay, so 14. Now 14 sounds like what it is, right? 14. Remember, we know it's a teen number because it ends with teen, so that's one little trick. And we know that our teen numbers always start with a, yep, they always start with a 1. So 14, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll out my number to make 14. And remember, you guys can pause the video to make your number 14. And if you have some extra time while you're waiting, you can even try to think about the other numbers that we've worked on and practice making those numbers again. All right. So here is my number 14. So there we go, 14. 14 is that 1 and a 4. All right, so what number comes after 14? That's right, 15. We have 15 that comes after 14. So remember, we're still doing teen numbers. So that one also sounds like 5th place. When we say 5th place, we mean 5, 5th place. So 15. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make my 15. And you guys can go ahead and make your 15. And like I said, if you've already made it, if you know your teen numbers so well and you're going through this so fast, you can try to make the other teen numbers that we've been talking about. All right, so here is 15. 15 is a 1 and a 5. Make sure you're also doing your numbers in the right way. So make sure that your numbers aren't going backwards or they're upside down or sideways. Make sure that they're all facing the right way. So 15. All right, what comes after 15? That's right, 16. And 16 also sounds like what it is. 16. So we know it's a teen number and I need a 6 after that 1. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll my Play-Doh to make 16. All right, here we go, 16. All right, and make sure that your 6 is facing the right way. Make sure it's not flipped the other way. Make sure it's facing the right direction. All right, so here we have 16. Now what comes after 16? 17. Very good job. And again, this one also almost gives us the answer too. 17. So remember, what do we put in front of our teen number? What's the first number? That 1. All right, so let's make 17 now. So I'm going to make my 7. Make sure if you're using Play-Doh, it's easy if you roll it up into that snake first. All right, and here we go. We have 17 here. All right. So make sure again that your 17 is facing the right direction. All right, so for our next one, we will do, what comes after 17? That's right, 18. All right, so let's make our 8 for 18. All right, and this one's a lot easier if you make it like a snake too. All right, and here we go, 18. We have 18 is a 1 and an 8. All right, and then our last teen number. What is our last teen number? Yep, 19. So for 19, we'll go ahead and we will do our line. A little more Play-Doh. And we'll make our 19. All right. So here we go. 19 is a 1 and a 9. Excellent job. Give yourself a pat on the back for doing such a good job, you guys. All right, so remember, always with your teen numbers, that it is always going to be a 1 that we put in the front and then the right number at the end. So it could be a 1 and a 2. What is it? 1 and a 2 is 12. A 1 and a 4, 14. A 1 and a 6, 16. Very good. So make sure that you don't do 6 and 1 because then that would be 61. So that would be flipped. So always the number that starts first will give you a clue on what it is. So remember, we kind of read our numbers the same way like we would a story, always from left to right. All right, so, and hopefully all those numbers were facing the right way. Sometimes on the camera, things can reflect a little bit different. So if my numbers looked a little bit funny, it might be just because my camera is facing, making it reflect in a different way. So just make sure you're doing your numbers the right way at home. All right, so let's move on. We're gonna practice some adding and subtracting. So let's first review what is adding and what is subtracting. So who can tell me what adding is? Yeah, so adding is when we make our number bigger. We are adding things, right? So if we go to the store and we ask mom and dad to buy us cookies and then candy and then chips and some fruit and some vegetables, we're adding a bunch of things into our cart, right? And then when we get home, we're going to subtract things, right? Because we're eating those things and we're taking things away. So, right, that's subtracting, is when we take those things away. So if I eat all of those vegetables and all those cookies and all those fruits and other things that we bought at the store, I took those things away. So now I subtracted. If I buy more food, now I'm adding food there. So that's the difference between adding and subtracting. Adding, I'm making something bigger, and subtracting is when I take something away. I'm making something smaller. All right, so we are first going to work on some flashcards. So you can either draw a picture to help you solve the problem. You can use your fingers, or you can use something at home, like if you want to count Legos, if you want to count dolls, whatever you want to help you find the answer to your problem, whatever works best for you. So I'm going to do it in a couple different ways. I'll draw a picture, I'll use my fingers, I'll use our fun erasers. So I'll change it up so you can see how we can do lots of different things to help us find our answer. All right, so here are some of our flashcards. So we'll start working on these. Okay, so the first one we're going to work on is, oops, if it can, there we go, 10 minus 4. Okay, so 10 minus 4. So Miss Emily's going to start explaining how to work on the problem, but I want you to pause the video and then you solve the problem on your own first and have your answer ready. Okay. All right, so I am going to first use some erasers to help me solve this problem. Let me get my erasers out. So 10 minus 4, when I subtract, I always need to start with my bigger number. So what number is bigger, 10 or 4? 10, that's right, because if I want to eat some cookies, am I going to want 10 cookies or I'm going to want 4 cookies? Right, I'm going to want 10 cookies. I want the most number of cookies. So I'm going to make my number 10 first. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me see if I can move this so you can see my board. All right, so there we go. We have 10 here. Now, my problem says 10 take away 4. So how many of these little erasers am I going to have to take away? 4. I need to take away 4. So let's take away 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be a little bit hard to see because the sun is here. All right, now let's count and see how many erasers are left. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what would my answer be? That's right, my answer would be 6. Excellent job. Very good job. All right, so let's do another one now. Let's see. All right, let's do this one. All right, we'll do 9 minus 7. So go ahead and pause your video so you can do 9 minus 7, and I'm going to start solving the problem here. Move this back up. Okay. So this time I am going to draw a picture to help me solve the problem. So 9 minus 7. So I'm going to say, okay, I go to the store and I'm going to buy 9 cookies. So I'm going to draw 9 cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And remember, I always start with that bigger number when I'm subtracting. So I have to start with that 9. So here are my 9 cookies. All right, now how many cookies am I going to eat? That's right, I'm going to eat 7 cookies. I'm going to take 7 cookies away because remember, we're working on 9 minus 7. All right, so I'm going to take 7 cookies away. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, how many cookies do I have left? That's right, I have 2 cookies left, 2 cookies. So my answer is 2. Very, very good job. Excellent job. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to erase my board. All right, so now let's work on another problem. Let's see what else I have in here. All right, let's work on this one. 3 plus 4. So remember, now I have my plus sign. So now I'm adding. I'm not subtracting anymore, I'm adding. So 3 plus 4. So this time I am going to use a tens frame to do this problem. So I'm going to draw my tens frame. Remember, you can pause the video to solve the problem first. All right, so I counted my boxes in my tens frame. So here's my tens frame, and parents at home, all a tens frame is, it's basically just a box like this with 10 individual little smaller boxes, and it's just an easier way to visualize counting and a way to represent numbers. So 3 plus 4. Okay, so when I add, I can start with the 3 or the 4, whichever one I want. So I'm just going to start with the 3 because it's the first one there. All right, so I'm going to put 3 on my tens frame. Remember, which box do I always start in when I do my tens frame? Which box? Yep, I always want to start in this box right here. So I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3. So I put 3 dots in my tens frame. Okay, now it says plus 4. So how many more do I need to add now? That's right, I need to add 4 more dots. So I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to count and see how many dots I have. Or I can look, and if I remember what my numbers look like on my tens frame, I can know the answer super fast. But maybe I don't know yet how to tell what number is represented on my tens frame, so I'm going to count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my answer is 7. And remember, if I remember how this number looks on my tens frame, I can just say, oh, that's 7. Kind of like the same way when we do math on our fingers. I know right away that this is showing me 7. So it's the same thing with our tens frame. I know that this, when I see this, it means 7. All right, so I'm going to erase this one. All right, let's find another one to do. Let's see. All right, let's do this one. 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2. So this time I'm going to use my fingers to help me find the answer. So go ahead and pause the video and solve it on your own first, and then we can go over how I got the answer together. All right, 6 plus 2. So I'm going to use my fingers to do this. So I need to first show 6 fingers. So I can do this by either I can count all my fingers and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I can say, okay, I know I have 5 fingers on one hand, so I just need to add 1 more to get 6. Okay, so now I have 6. And now it says 6 plus 2. So how many more fingers do I need to add? That's right, I need to add 2 more fingers. So 6. I keep 6 in my head, 7, 8. So what's my answer? 8. And if you want, you can go back and count all your fingers. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 all together. All right, very good job. Now let's work on another one. We'll do 2 more. All right, let's do this one. So this one we have 8 minus 4. So 8 minus 4, or take away. Remember, this little minus sign means take away. So I'm going to take away 4. All right, so I'm going to use my erasers for this one, and you can go ahead and pause the video. I'll move this down so you can see what I'm going to do. Okay, so 8 minus 4. So I need to start with my bigger number. What's bigger, 8 or 4? That's right, 8 is bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and put 8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 take away 4. Okay, so how many do I need to take away? That's right, I need to take away 4. So let's take away 4 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to count how many I have left now. How many are left over? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right. You are counting to count nice and slow. So I'm going to take my pointer finger and I'm going to count really slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We want to count really slow. That way we can find the right answer. Because sometimes if we count a little bit too fast, it might trick our brains a little bit. All right, let's do one more. I'll move this back up. All right, let's do another one. Let's do this one. Do 7 plus 7. All right, so 7 plus 7. I am going to draw a picture for this one. So go ahead and pause the video and then come back and check to see how we solve the answer. All right, so for 7 plus 7, I am going to pretend that I am outside at nighttime and I see a bunch of stars in the sky. So first I see 7 stars. So I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's my 7 stars that I see in the sky. I see 7 stars. Okay, now I look to my left and I see 7 more stars. So I'm going to draw another 7 stars because I'm adding. I'm going to make my 7 plus 7 now. So when I'm adding, I need to make my number bigger. So I'm going to add 7 more stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I added my 7 more stars. So now we're going to count all the stars up all together to see how many stars did I see all together. I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So to keep track of how many stars I counted, I just put little dots. So my answer is 14, right? And let's write 14 so that we can remember how we write our teen numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and write 14. I want you to write the number 14 too. All right, so there we have our 14. 14 is a 1 and a 4. Remember, 14. With that teen number, we always start with that 1 in the front. All right, very good job. All right, so let's do 2 word problems, and then we will finish our lesson with some Junie B. Jones. You guys are working so hard. Okay. So our first word problem that we're going to do, so I'm going to say the word problem. If you want, you can go back and rewind and listen to it again, and then we will solve it here together. So we're going to say, okay, Miss Emily has 6 apples. So Miss Emily has 6 apples. And Miss Anna has 4 apples. So Miss Emily has 6 apples and Miss Anna has 4 apples. How many apples are there all together? All right, so I want you to think about that and then come back and we'll solve the answer together. Okay, so I said Miss Emily has 6 apples. So to help me do this, I'm also going to draw a picture. Because I think sometimes when we do word problems, drawing what we hear or drawing what we read really helps us to understand the problem. So I'm going to put an E for Miss Emily and an A for Miss Anna. So Miss Emily has 6 apples. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Okay, so Miss Emily has 6 apples, and Miss Anna has 4 apples. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, with my little apple stem. My apples are not the best, but that's okay. It works. All right, so there we go. Miss Anna has 4 apples. Miss Emily has 6 apples. So how do I find my answer? Yeah, I need to count how many there are all together. When I hear that word all together, I know that I'm going to add because I need to know how many there are. How many do I see? So let's count them. I'm going to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 apples all together. And I just put a line through them so that I could keep track of how I was counting them. Because sometimes if I just use my finger to count, I can lose track. So if I draw something over them, that helps me keep track. So I have 10 apples all together. So I'm going to write the number 10. So show me how we write the number 10. Yep. So 10 is that 1 and a 0 right there. So 10 apples all together. All right, let's work on one more subtraction problem, or a subtraction word problem now. I kind of gave it away what we were going to do. All right, so this time, Miss Emily goes to the store. I bring home 10 cookies. So Miss Emily goes to the store. I bring home 10 cookies. When I get home, my sister eats 5 of those cookies. She eats 5 cookies. How many cookies do I have left? All right, so we're going to work on the problem now together. So Miss Emily goes to the store and I buy how many cookies? Yep, I buy 10 cookies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to put some chocolate chips on my cookies because chocolate chip cookies are my favorite. All right, so I have 10 cookies here. 10 cookies. So I go to the store, I buy 10 cookies. I come home and my sister ate how many? She ate 5 of my cookies. Oh my goodness, she ate so many of my cookies. All right, so I'm going to take away how many? I'm going to take away 5 cookies. So I'm going to go 1 cookie, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so how many cookies do I have left? Yep, I have 5 cookies left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And remember, to keep track of your counting, you can also put a little, a line through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I can see that I counted all of them. So 5 cookies all together. Very good job, guys. I know that sometimes math can be a little bit tricky with word problems, but I know that you guys are doing such a good job at home. So very, very good job. All right, so let's quickly go over what your journal is going to be today. So let's see if I can move everything out of the way so you can see a little bit better. All right, so today I would like you to journal about what is your favorite movie? So I want you to tell me all about what your favorite movie is, who your favorite character is in the movie, why do you like the movie, if you saw the movie in the movie theater, if you saw the movie at your house, whatever you would like to tell me about your favorite movie. Right now, my favorite movie is Moana. I love Moana, and I think it's such a cute movie. So I've been watching that at home since have all been staying at home for the past couple of weeks. All right, so we are now going to read some of Junie B. Jones. So in our last chapter, where did Junie B. Jones say she was going to go on her field trip? Where was her field trip going to be? Yeah, it was going to be on to a farm. And was Junie B feeling really excited about going on the field trip? No, she wasn't feeling that excited at all. So we're going to see what happens in chapter 2 of Junie B today. All right, chapter 2 is called Stubby. That night, I ate dinner with Mother and Daddy and my baby brother named Ollie. Only I couldn't even swallow that good, because I was still upset about the field trip, that's why. I don't want to go, I said. I don't want to go to the farm with room 9, because a farm is the most dangerous place I ever heard of. Daddy looked surprised at me. What are you talking about, Junie B? He said, what's dangerous about a farm? The ponies, of course, I said. The ponies are dangerous. Farms have ponies running in their fields, and ponies can stomple you into the ground. Mother covered her face with her hands. No, Junie B. Jones, please. Not this pony thing again. We've talked about this 100 times. I've told you over and over that ponies do not hurt you. Yes, they do too hurt you, Mother. I saw it. I saw it on TV with my own eyes. Mother looked at Daddy. It was that cable show the babysitter let her watch, she said. It was called When Ponies Attacked, I hollered. It was called When Ponies Attack. After that, Daddy covered his face too. Then all of a sudden, he busted out in a loud hoot of laughing, and he couldn't even stop himself. Mother's cheeks sucked way into her head. Thank you, she said. You're being a huge help here. Then Daddy got up from his chair, and he went to his room for a timeout. Uh-oh. That's when me and Mother had another long talk about ponies. She told me that her Uncle Billy used to have a farm, and that the farm had a pony named Stubby, and that Stubby was gentle as a lamb. As a matter of fact, Uncle Billy had almost every kind of farm animal you can think of, said Mother. Pigs, cows, sheep, chicken, goats. He even had a mean old rooster named Spurs. But out of all those animals, the pony was the sweetest. Mother smiled. You would have loved Stubby, Junie B, she said. He used to follow me around like a puppy. He did, I said. He did. Honest, honey, I would never let you go to a farm if there was even the teeniest chance you would be hurt by any of the animals. But my Uncle Billy's farm had the gentlest animals I ever saw. Mother smiled a little bit. Well, except for that mean old rooster anyway, she said. Just then, Daddy came back into the kitchen. He said apology to me. I'm sorry, Junie B, I didn't mean to laugh, but that TV show you saw was just so ridiculous I couldn't help it. After that, he sat down at the table and he filled out my permission slip for the farm. You're going to love this trip, he told me. We'll get you one of those little throwaway cameras from the store, and you can take pictures of all the animals you see. Great idea, said Mother, and I'll take you shopping for a brand new pair of overalls, and I'll even pack you your very favorite lunch. After that, I got down from my chair very quiet, and I went to my room. I climbed onto my bed, and I hugged my stuffed animals real tight, because I kept on thinking and thinking about what Mother said about Uncle Billy's animals. But mostly, I kept thinking about that mean old rooster. On account of one time at my school, a boy named Meanie Jim brought his rooster for pet day. And he said that roosters can peck your head. Oh no, and that is not pleasant, I tell you. I hugged my animals even tighter. 'Cause guess what? Roosters are a jillion times scarier than ponies. And here's a picture of Junie B. All right. So tomorrow we'll get to read chapter 3, which is called Pictures. All right, so I want you to think about some different questions that came up in this part of the chapter. So why is Junie B so afraid of roosters? And is she scared of ponies anymore? And what type of animals were on her uncle's farm that you can remember? And so we'll talk about that next time. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we are going to be starting to do live stream of our class together starting on April 6th. So if you would like to join in on that, make sure you go ahead and sign the permission form. And I will see all of you in our next video. Bye, guys!